Hello and welcome to the KB.MichelleGreen podcast. KB stands for Kingdom Builders. Have you subscribed to all of our social media platforms? We're on KB.MichelleGreen Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, X, Twitter. We're on everywhere you can think of. That's a major platform. And here we are with KB.MichelleGreen podcast. Make sure that you subscribe on Apple, on Spotify, on Google, or wherever you can find us. We are out there. Okay, thank you. Thank you for listening. Today, we would like to speak about, or rather, I would like to speak about. I don't know. I'm so used to saying we because I'm thinking about my businesses, but this is about my perspective of identity. So earlier I was watching TLC's documentary on their lives and how things have shifted and changed for them. And it was really amazing because I grew up in the era of TLC as a teenager, a young adult, and it just warmed my heart to go back to hear some of the songs and to have some of the memories come up of what life was like back then, even though life was not exactly the same as it is now. But it was a life, and we as in the people in that era who knew TLC when they first came out and went through that whole life journey with them and are still here rooting them on. Like, it was just an experience to have, and I'm so grateful that that was a part of my time and is a part of my time. So I guess they are still out there. So go TLC. Y'all got it going on, girls. And yes, we all miss Left Eye. But anyway, my podcast today is not about a music group or anything. My podcast today is just about watching their show, bringing up memories of when I lost my mom, when my mom passed away last year in September, as we've been talking about in almost every episode. And I apologize if you guys are tired of me saying this, but I mean, I just miss my mom and I have to get this out. It's a part of my identity. But I do want to bring to your attention today this perspective as I was watching the show, remembering one of the things that Chili said is that when you think of the person, you can't think of them in past tense, so you speak of them in present tense as though they are still here on earth. And that was one of the things that kind of like struck a chord with me because she was talking about Left Eye. And then after that took place, then there was this awareness of, I need to share this with my people. I need to share this with the people out here that are listening to the KB.MichelleGreen podcast concerning the transfer of generations and the transfers of names. So the transfer of generations, I don't know how often we think about as people, when we leave this earth, what life will be like for the next generation. And even though I've touched on this subject just a little bit, I wanted to bring it back to our attention because it's such an important message for us to pay attention to. It's an important message for us not just to pay attention to with information, but it's something that we definitely need to take heed to. We need to adhere to. We need to put action behind this information. So the transfer of a generation, the transfer of a name is definitely something that many of us will encounter when someone from the older generation, the generation that was before us, when they pass away, there may be many of us who will have a transference of wealth, and some of us won't have a transference of wealth. We'll have a transference of problems. And the purpose of me talking about this is just to make us aware that this is a very serious matter. I was speaking with a friend of mine earlier, and we were just discussing how prepared are we for if we are to leave here. If we were to leave here today, tomorrow, whenever our death date is that none of us know, then what will the people that are going to be left behind that are directly impacted from our life being gone, how will they manage? What is it that they will be able to do? How simple will it be to transfer items into their name? Do we have wills? Do we have trusts? Do we have life insurance? Do we have investments? And if we do, even something simple such as a bank account with money in it. Maybe you're waiting on your next check, and like my mom, she had just gotten paid. And with her just getting paid, there was her regular check that was already cleared in her bank. But do you have access, like I had access to my mom's bank account? Are you the beneficiary? Or do you have beneficiaries on bank accounts? Do you have beneficiaries? Do you have a life insurance policy? Do you have property that needs to be deeded or willed to someone? Do you have an updated will? Do you have all of your affairs in order? It is so very important. I cannot stress enough of how important it is to have all of your affairs in order. In talking to my friend earlier, and also just thinking about, the experiences that TLC had with Left Eye, even though they weren't directly related, but just thinking about so many people who leave this earth and there are no plans for when they are gone. And I was even thinking about the other day, the fact that I really need to clean out my closet. And actually, that's where I am in this recording right now. And I wanted to just think about, all the things that would impact my family if I were to leave here today. Definitely not trying to check out, but this is a reality that one day we will not be here. And I don't think that we consider that enough, because we're so caught up into our day-to-day life that we really don't consider a next generation much. We don't really consider the people who are actually going to be left behind. The people who are not going to, know what to do. They won't know where anything is. They don't have our passwords. They don't have any part of anything of our regular routine down packed. They don't know the systems that we have created for ourselves. And it is so crucial that we begin to teach the people who would be left behind in case one of us go before the other, whether it's a parent-child or whether it's a spousal relationship or whether it's just a friend. What are your wishes that if you were no longer here, what would you want them to do with your clothes? What would you want them to do with your stuff, your house, your property, your cars? If you have boats or whatever it is that you have, what do you want them to do with your money? What do you want them to do with your things? What would you want them to do with your belongings? Like what is the process? How easy or simple will it be? This is something that really blew my mind concerning my mom's passing. I was so relieved to know that number one, I'm a financial advisor, and as a financial advisor, I'm also licensed in insurance. So we covered the life insurance policy, and that cleared very easily. There was no issues there. But I had no idea where my mom's, where her title or deeds would be. I didn't know who her bills were with, or if she had outside debt that she had not spoken of, or, student loans or personal loans or credit cards or, whatever. I had no idea, but I just want to let you guys know, I am so grateful that my mom did not leave me in a situation, in a pickle, where I would have to search for those documents and try to prolong a probate court and having to go through this process of transferring everything through paperwork with the probate. It was a very simple and easy process that even the probate ladies said that it was very quick and easy, and I had all of the stuff that I needed. But I was sharing with my friend this morning that there are so many millions of us that don't have that. Number one, we don't have the knowledge, so we're not informed on buying the right life insurance. We're not informed on creating wills or trust funds for our families. Many of us don't even know where to begin with that. There are several of us who, we just don't understand, we don't want to talk about what the cost is for a casket, or if we want to be cremated, would someone actually follow through with our wishes? Because we have a policy in place to take care of it, or the money set aside in an investment that we can actually have the beneficiary go and take out and take care of everything as we asked. But many of us aren't really informing anyone so that any person would know what it is that we want. Before my mom passed away earlier in May of 2023, I actually had this conversation with her. It was actually about a year ago. And in that conversation, I asked her what were her wishes, and she told me. But prior to that time period, all throughout the years, she would never tell me what it was that her wishes were. And I barely was able to even convince her to, keep a life insurance policy on her that I would pay for. It was rare that she would even want to do anything to make preparations. But how happy I am. I'm so grateful that we did push the envelope on these issues together. Because had it not been so, and had my mom not prepared me for what was coming, that I'm pretty sure she knew, but nobody knew but her. But if she had not prepared me, I don't know where I would be right now. I don't know what I would be doing. I don't know how the whole situation would have turned out. I don't really have a clue. And I just want you to think about, take it serious. Take it very serious to consider what the next generation of people who you're leaving behind is going to experience in your loss. And maybe you are a loner. Maybe there's nobody that you actually are connected to. Maybe you don't have any family. But what about the people at your job? What about the people in your business? What about the people that are your neighbors or in your community? There has to be somebody, because listen, we cannot go through life just being alone. We cannot go through life. This is not a life that God intended for us to do by ourselves solely. Even though millions of us are out here and we're alone and we're trying to do things on our own. But then what happens when we pass away? Who takes care of our things? Who do we give our things to? Who do we will them to, y'all? Like, we cannot take any of these things with us. And the biggest thing that I have looked at in my mom's passing is her house is still the same, pretty much, with all of the things that I haven't cleaned out. So the only hang up that I have about someone passing is the transfer of the name. The transfer of the name that now my name is on her property. The transfer of the name where my name is now on her house. My name is now on her car. And I still keep referring to it being hers and not mine. You know, my name is now on the responsibility of all of the stuff in her home. And I don't see it as mine yet. Maybe there's something that'll come down the road. But these are things that you're going to have to think about at some point, or someone that you love is going to have to think about for you. So I want to encourage you all. I want to encourage you today to seek some assistance. You know, I may even do a event. So if you're following KB.MichelleGreen, follow us on all social media platforms so that you'll be notified when we have an event, because I'm seriously thinking about just sharing what I know. And I don't mean sharing from this perspective, but I'm talking about going deeper into the financial aspect, the spiritual, the mental aspect, and, you know, all of the paperwork that has to be completed in order for these things to go well. When someone passes away, there is a lot that is lost and it's a lot that is transferred. My mom set me up for my generation. And now I have an obligation and a responsibility, as I am here, to share my gifts, my skills, and talents with the world. I have a responsibility with my family to make sure that they are set, and to make sure that you have the information that you need to also have those who you leave behind in a great position. We don't want to leave death in every aspect of our lives. We want to leave an abundance of life. Although my mom passed away and I miss her like crazy, I can truly say that I feel her love for me every single day. And it's not because of money. It's because of her willingness to take care of things and to really set me up for the rest of my life. So can you say the same? I urge you to do what you need to do to take care of your affairs. Thank you for listening.